Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm here to give you my TNA review for October, today's 30th, so it will be the 29th, 2014. We get Taz and Mike today on commentary. I didn't do the review yesterday because my aunt came in from North Carolina, and you were kind of having like an aunt nephew day, kind of. And I did watch TV. Just didn't watch TNA, and I was watching Duck Dynasty, and it actually looked like a pretty funny show. So if I can find that show on Netflix, I'll do some reviews of it on my other channel, Owen Talkinator. I actually want to start watching more of Walking Dead. That's probably maybe why I didn't really enjoy the show that much, because I wanted to watch The Walking Dead. Um, but the show starts off with Samoa Joe and Loki versus Kenny King and MVP in semifinals TNA World Tag Team Championship Tournament number one contenders match kind of thing. And this match actually was not that bad. Um, Samoa Joe actually got MVP. Was it MVP? Yeah, an MVP in a sick leg lock. And eventually Kenny King and MVP tried to hold Samoa Joe's legs. And Loki goes to dive on him. Samoa Joe pulls down the top rope, and he does a flip dive onto Kenny King and MVP. And eventually, MVP cheap shots Loki, and they dominate Loki for a while. And then Samoa Joe gets the hot tag and goes off on Kenny King. He gets the weird naked choke on him, but MVP breaks it up, and Loki does a six, and Loki and actually Kenny King kicks Samoa Joe in the back of the head and tries to cover him, but low key breaks it up with a stomp move, and then MVP takes out Loki, and they fight, and MVP and Loki are fighting on the outside, and MVP throws Loki, but he lands on the ring apron and does a spin kick from the apron to MVP. And then Kenny King goes to splash Samoa Joe in the corner, but low-key drop kicks him, and Samoa Joe gets the rear naked choke in, and Kenny King taps out, so they advance to the finals, and I thought this was good stuff. I was expecting MVP and Kenny King to win, but I guess things don't work out the way they plan sometimes. And then Devon gets interviewed, and he talks about how Magnus wants to interfere in his match, and Bram wants to get rid of the hardcore division, so I'm going to call up a friend, and then a friend calls him on the phone. I thought at first it was going to be Bully Ray, but it wasn't. So then Bram comes out to cut a promo, and the guy can't cut a promo. I don't really like Bram that much. He talks about how he's going to take out the hardcore legends like Abyss and Devon, and Magnus comes out, and he says that the Magnus says that they don't see eye to eye, and they may not be brothers by blood, but they're brothers who draw blood or something like that. And Bram says, if you had been like this when you were world champion, imagine what your world title reign would have been then. And then they talk about how they're going to take down TNA, and they're going to take down the hardcore legends. And Devon comes out and says he called out an hardcore legend. At first I thought it was going to be Abyss, but then it was the innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer, which was a surprise. I think the last time I saw Tommy Dreamer was actually at Bound for Glory. So he comes out, and they fight with Magnus and Bram, and I think Devon fought with Bram, Dreamer fought with Magnus, and eventually Devon brings in a couple of chairs, and Magnus and Bram run away, and they stand tall. So I thought this was fine, and I think they're gonna have a tag team hardcore Wolves match with Devon and Tommy Dreamer versus Bram and Magnus. And then Taylor and Terrell and Madison Rain are backstage, and Madison Rain apologizes for what she did to her, leaving her. I think she said she held the tights in the match, but she also apologizes for leaving her to Havoc, who wasn't on the show this week. And Taylor and Terrell's like, all right, we'll just put our differences aside and take out the beautiful people, and we'll talk about this later. And then Madison Rain's like, sooner rather than later. So then we get the match between the beautiful people, Velvet Sky and Angelina Love, versus Madison Rayne and Taryn Terrell. It's pretty much a handicap match. Taryn Terrell is trying to fight off the beautiful people, and anytime she tries to tag in Madison Rayne, she refuses. Eventually, Madison Rayne just comes in and starts taking out the beautiful people, but then she big boots Taryn Terrell in the face, which was not that surprising at all. I completely saw that coming. And she hits a finisher on her. I don't remember what it was. And the beautiful people both cover her for the win, so this is going to be a feud now. I don't really care about it right now. And then Shark Boy is backstage, and I actually thought this was funny. He's eating like a hot dog, I think, and kids are coming up to him and asking him for autographs, like, "Oh, this is still going on." And he signs it, and the kid's like, "It has ketchup on it. It has some mustard too. Congratulations." And then an old lady asks for a picture, and he's like, all right, come have a picture." And he takes the picture, and he doesn't even have his mask fully on. And then she's like, this old granny's taking the picture. And then some random guy from backstage comes up and says, we need pretty much says to bring up back the old Shark Boy, not this Shark Boy. And he's like, "Hell yeah," very stone coldish when he said hell yeah. And someone asked, "Do you really think you can do it?" And the guy's like, "Hell no." So I thought it was pretty good. That actually happened before the beautiful people thing, but so then we got the beautiful people, and we got in the knockouts match, and then Kurt Angle gets interviewed and asks about the world title match, and Kurt Angle says that he wants to call this match down the middle. These are two of the best wrestlers in TNA right now, and they want this match called down the. He wants this match called down the middle, and if anyone tries to interfere, it's gonna get damn real. It was alright. So then we get the Hardys, Matt and Jeff, versus Ethan Carter III, EC3, and Tyrus in the finals of the semifinals match for the tag team title tournament. Winner faces Low-Key and Joe. This match was good. I liked seeing the Hardys team up again. Matt Hardy did a suplex, and then Jeff Hardy did a splash off the top turnbuckle, which I thought was good. Jeff Hardy did the poetry of motion, and Matt Hardy did the side effect. Eventually, EC3 and Tyrus dominate Matt Hardy for a while, and then Jeff Hardy gets the hot tag on EC3, and he goes off on him, does the whisper in the wind, the twist of fate, all that stuff, and he tags in Tyrus, and Tyrus double clotheslines him, and he tries to splash him, I think from the top rope. No, I think he just tries to splash him, and the Hardys move out of the way, and they both do a twist of fate to Tyrus, and Jeff Hardy hits a swanton bomb for the win, so they advance, and then afterwards EC3 is yelling at Tyrus. So I thought it was pretty good stuff, and I think the match between the Hardys and Samoa Joe and Loki should be really good. I think that's probably the best match you can get out of the tournament. Then James Storm, the Great Sonata, and Manic are backstage, and they said they just need one more person to make this revolution complete. So they come out. They said so they call out Davey Richards pretty much and offer him to join the group. He talks about how he's had tag teams that the other person told him back. So he references that Davey Richards is that Eddie Edwards is holding Davey Richards back, and he actually comes out too, and he is just kind of thinking about it. He's wants to join. He's just thinking about it. It sounds interesting to him. So, but then Eddie Edwards comes out and says that he doesn't want him to join or something like that. Says I haven't held Davey Richards back. We've been together for years. Don't throw it all away at all our success now. Then Davey Richards says, "I can speak for myself." And James Storm, and it eventually leads into a match. It was a kind of a nothing match. During the match, Davey Richards is talking to Manic, kind of. Manic is trying to whisper stuff into his ear. Eventually, the Great Sonata comes up and distracts the ref, and James Storm hits the Great Sonata, and Davey Richards tried to roll him up, but James Storm kicked out. And Davey Richards drop kicks Manic, and he's getting into Davey Richards' face, saying, "What are you doing, man?" And he's like, "I'm just standing here." And James Storm hits the last call super kick on him for the win, so I don't really know where this is going. I don't think Davey Richards will join. I think it's going to lead into a feud between the Wolves and the Great Sonata and Manic for the TNA Tag Team titles. And then we get the main event. Lashley defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Bobby Roode, with Kurt Angle as the special guest referee. I thought this match was good. I don't know if it was better than the first one since I haven't seen haven't seen the first one and might never see the first one. Lashley dominates Rude for a while. He works on his back, and then Rude makes a comeback. Does the spine busters. There's a ton of atomic drops. Eventually, Lashley splashes Angle in the corner. And so Angle gets taken down, but he hits the spear on Rude. And Rude kicked out. But Angle didn't come to in time. Then eventually, he tries to do it again, but Rude moves out of the way and tries to spear him, but he spears Angle by accident. And Rude and Lashley eventually end up fighting on the outside. And Lashley tries to spear Rude again, but he accidentally takes out somebody, some Ring Crew attendant or something. And then Rude hits a Rude bomb on the stage, and he gets Lashley in the ring. And another referee comes out and tries to count 3, but Lashley kicks out. Then he gets distracted, I guess, trying to get Kurt Angle to come back in the ring, and Lashley low blows him, and is about to hit him with the belt, but the referee's like, you can't use that. You'll get disqualified. You know that. And so first Lashley puts it down, and he takes out the ref. Then he picks the title back up and hits Rude with it, and Angle comes to and is going to make the count, but Rude kicks out, and he goes to hit the Rude bomb on Lashley, but he goes to hit it over the ropes, but Lashley lands along his feet and hands him up against the ropes and tries to go off the top, but Rude tries to hit the Rude bomb on him again, and Lashley tries to do like a sunset flip roll up, but then it fails, and Rude rolls Lashley up and gets the win and becomes the new champion. I already knew this had happened because I read the spoilers, because I thought this had already happened, because I wasn't watching TNA, so I thought that this had already happened. But Rude's the new champion. That's fine. The match was still good, though, even though I already knew who won it. Did hurt my interest in the match that I already knew who won, but TNA I thought was just kind of average this week. Maybe next week will be better. And we're going to get the tournament finals next week, so that should be interesting. But that's pretty much it, guys. See you.